Hello, I am Dr. Michael Greaves with the Digital Twin Institute. I am pleased to give you a short talk today on digital twins and the metaverse. I'm going to begin with something that may strike you as controversial. People do not need or want products. What they need or want is the results that the products will give them. People do not want a steam shovel nor a drill. What they want is a hole. Likewise, people do not want or need standards. What they want or need is the results that the standards will give them. People don't want a digital twin standard. People need or want integration and interoperability of different digital twins, no matter what the source for use in their system and system of systems. I will come back to this in a few minutes. If you attended this conference last year, you might remember this slide from my talk. It is my perspective of the digital twin evolution. I stated that we were in phase 2, the conceptual or the ad hoc stage. Phase 2 is the stage where we develop digital twins independently without worrying about system interoperability. We will soon evolve to what I call platforms, where we could integrate and interop these different independent digital twins into system and system of systems. The first platform phase would be replication, where we have instantaneous and simultaneous access to all aspects of our physical products through their digital twin, no matter where they are operating in the physical world. The next evolution is to what I call the intelligent digital twin platform. At every time zero, we can take the replication digital twin and project the probabilities of what can happen with what I call front-running simulation, or FRS. We will predict the physical product's possible future performance based on physics or Bayesian and other probabilities. While I didn't name the platforms when I came to develop this slide, I have come to view these two platforms as being what I am now calling digital twin metaverses. So what are the characteristics of the digital twin metaverse, or what I had previously called the digital twin environment? For those of you who may not be familiar where the term metaverse originated, it originated in a science fiction book called Snow Crash by Neal Stephenson in the 1990s. It was primarily for social interaction purposes, and it didn't particularly follow the laws of our physical universe. We will require what I call the digital twin metaverse, or more simply, the DT metaverse. The DT metaverse is different from the original version. I have a chapter in a book that is coming out in the next few months called Digital Twins, Simulation, and the Metaverse. My chapter describes what I believe is to be the characteristics of this digital twin metaverse. The characteristics are as follows. First, there are multiple DT metaverses. My original 2002 digital twin model is here. The model had virtual spaces that I subsequently eliminated for simplicity purposes. Interestingly enough, the original model represents more accurately the need to have the ability of multiple DT metaverses, where we are constrained to only one space in our physical world. DT interoperability is a core requirement. We will need to have multiple digital twins that have been developed in various places by various people and have them work together. The laws of the physical universe are implemented and enforced in simulations for inanimate objects. In order to rely on the predictions our simulations offer, it is critical that the simulations operate with the same laws and rules of our physical universe. Our physical universe is extremely complex, so it may not be possible to have the simulation adhere to all of our universe's laws. Digital twin value is driven by use cases, so we may not need all the physical laws supported. It will be important for users to know the limitations of these simulations. The DT metaverse supports both replication and prediction. Again, this is shown more accurately in my original model here than in the current DT model. The large space on the right-hand side supports replication of its corresponding physical objects on the left-hand side. Predictions are performed in the simulation metaverses in the digital virtual spaces below that replication space. Multiple participative, immersive as XR avatars is supported. The big difference from where we are today, and that is reminiscent of the Snow Crash metaverse, is that we will allow multiple participants as XR avatars. So instead of just being an observer participant outside the system, we will have the ability of being interactive with the digital twins and other human avatars in the digital twin metaverses. Meta capabilities are allowed for human participants as XR avatars. For specific use cases, we will allow meta capabilities for human participants as these XR avatars. As examples, avatars will be able to walk through inanimate objects, move from one place to another instantaneously, and possess X-ray vision capabilities. Time can be synchronous or asynchronous with physical time depending on use case and DT type time. The original Snow Crash metaverse was synchronous with the real world. We can be both time unconstrained and move both forward and backward in time in our DT metaverses. Finally, cybersecurity needs to be embedded in all aspects. In a digital environment, we cannot secure our digital assets behind physical barriers. We will constantly need to have cybersecurity on a constant and always vigilant basis to ensure that only authorized people can engage with our digital twins in the digital twin metaverse. What are the approaches to have digital twin metaverses that integrate and interoperate? First, we have ad hoc programming. As I've said earlier, that's where I believe we are today. There are successful examples. However, it is expensive and time-consuming to integrate different digital twins in this way. There are constant calls for standards, meaning ontologies, attributes, and method call semantics. There are two major issues. The first issue is that there is a wealth of fragmented standards that people, for the most part, are not adopting. The second issue is that exhaustive standards for complex digital twin systems are extremely difficult and maybe even impossible. We can have harmonization where a group of organizations come together in order to agree on the interoperability conventions of their digital twins. Middleware software companies will arise to integrate different specific versions of digital twins. They will provide selective pairwise integration of different digital twin implementations. We're going to have what I call digital twin industry-specific metaverse platforms. These platforms define their conventions that users will need to adhere to in order to use their platforms. The approach that I'm working on is using AI to provide interoperability. I believe that AI can have the ability of taking diverse digital twins and determining what are the requirements to connect the different digital twins so that they interoperate. This is a proposed model of this approach. In the physical world, nature tries all possible combinations through genetic mutation and lets the environment select the survivors. Digital space is the natural habitat of AI. Subject to computing availability, AI is similar to physical nature. AI can try all combinations of the solution space that maps the solution space of different digital twins to determine how they can operate. In this example, we have different digital twins of the components of an airplane. When we put fuel in the fuel tank, we need the fuel tank to fill. We need the wings to deform to reflect the fuel in the fuel tank, and we need the engine to receive the fuel. We need the weight of the plane's fuselage to increase. AI can be trained about knowing how airplanes' components work together and can determine and map the interoperability of different digital twin components. We can apply this model to system of systems. System of systems such as factories, airports, buildings, and cities are much more complex. However, using AI for digital twin interoperability is also feasible here. In fact, given the complexity of these system of systems, it may be the only approach to digital twin interoperability. Thank you for your attention. With that, I would to wish you a successful conference on a very important topic. There is much exciting work to do here.